It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 160. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, Letter from the Producer Live Part 50 Digest is released. Play free for up to 7 days in the latest free login campaign. The Final Fantasy XV collaboration event, A Nocturne for Heroes, begins on Tuesday, April 16th. Lodestone got an update. A reminder that Hatching Tide is here. We have developers blog, fan tweets, fan mail, and fan comments. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby, what's been going on?
Hi, Yelta. Hi, Kitty.
I know she's back there. Being loud.
It's a Hrothgar to be. I believe it. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm terrible. I am trying to finish up this last bit of Jack Daniels, which is terrible in comparison to the Jameson bottle I'm looking at, and I have to just have to stomach this.
Just suck it down.
Till I get to the good shit. So, forgive me as I gag and wheeze till I get to the good whiskey. But anyway, other than that, life is good. Everything's been fantastic. It's been a fun week playing Final Fantasy XIV. The gang is all here in game as far as our free company goes. There's a lot of free company activity. I think there was one night I logged in, there were 14 people on, which is big for our free company. I mean, we have quite a few members, but you know how it goes. It's right before a expansion and things tend to slow down. But for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it, at least not with our free company. And not with the number of returners and sprouts that I've been seeing. And I don't know if it's just that the Shadowbringers buzz is so good and so big that people are really trying to get their levels up, their gear eye level up, whatever, to prepare themselves for Shadowbringers. Maybe people are just happy Stormblood's over. I don't know. But a lot of people are on. It's a lot of fun. The free company's been hopping, and I've been playing a lot just to catch up. So part of the attraction is the 900 tome cap. They doubled it, right?
Right.
So I didn't get capped, but I got pretty damn close. I got to 850 before I just had to throw in the towel, and that afforded me the healer tome body because I'm doing 3 different roles. Caster, which is basically finished, other than upgrading some accessories. I could do Savage, but I'm weak. And I've been doing ranged, really. Secondly, I managed to grab the ranged hands out of Orban this week. That one's successful because I was really the only ranged in any of the groups that I ran. Orban itself wasn't that successful, but I was successful in grabbing a piece of gear. So my ranged is doing really well. My healers are doing pretty good. I'm really just kind of getting to that category where I need the weapons. But we've got Seiryu EX kind of down, and I'll talk about doing some of that in a moment. But as soon as I grab some weapons, and for healer, it's really pants and then some upgrades on the hands, head, and feet. I'm feeling pretty good about having most of my primary roles in the 385 to 390 range, which I think is probably pretty damn good for going into Shadowbringers. I'm not really banking on trying to get 400 or 405 or whatever else. I don't need it. And neither do you, listener, unless you just want to be a badass. Because by the time you get to the level 75 dungeon, remember we're going to 80, so when you hit about the 75 dungeon in the story, you will start seeing gear that is comparable to what you're wearing coming out of Stormblood, if you're around the 390 to 400 mark. And then once you get past 75, 76, and you're into those dungeons, 77, I would imagine you want to start lauding on gear again, if it follows the same pattern that Heavensward and Stormblood has. So I'm not sweating it. And if I've got 3 different roles, which means I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different jobs that I will have decent gear going into Shadowbringers, I'm not terribly worried about it. Plus, I'll have dancer gear because, ranged, right? And that mysterious 4th healer. Sorry.
Stop it.
Had to.
Just rub salt on the wound.
E2 Brute. So that was a thing. But, in my quest to get ranged gear, because I've been playing ranged when I go into the 24-man, and I had some somehow, some reason, thought I had done Orban for the week, and Sunday's here. I was like, oh, fuck, I haven't done it. Mm-hmm. And it's Sunday. You know what that means.
Yes.
A bunch of shitheads and a bunch of shenanigans in the 24-man raid. So I get into one. It was doomed from the start. As soon as I got in, 2 people left. It's like, what the fuck? Why would 2 people immediately leave? And I guess it's just seeing that 50 extra mendacity tomes because you have new people. And they immediately left. And maybe they determined that the new people were the healers. I think one of the healers was new. The other wasn't. And I think the one that wasn't new was a scholar that I honestly had to check if they had their fairy out. Mm-hmm. That is how little healing that this guy did. It was abysmal. Ugh. So Mustadio was a train wreck. They died the entire time. When your whole team, your whole party is dead on Mustadio, you are in a world of trouble. It is no longer World of Belts. It is World of Trouble. So we got through Mustadio, and I gritted my teeth. Really, my mentality was, maybe I'll get a drop from the first 2. And then it dawned on me, I still need to finish this shit because I need the token. So we did Mustadio. Train wreck, but we made it through it. We did Agrias. Train wreck. They got hit with everything. They didn't know how to use the shield, whatever. I think we wiped because we got pulled into the tunnel. You know, like where you go where the ghosts are, like the ghost train looking ghosts. Mm-hmm. And you have to like kill the black ones and the white ones you have to slash with the sword. Fuck that shit to hell. It was, no.
Didn't happen.
Woke up dead. Nope, woke up dead. And they raised us all. And I think it was at that point there were concerns from the other alliances. Because Orban, if you think you're going to talk shit, and I've got more stories for Orban within the same day. But if you think you're Alliance C and you see Alliance B fall and you want to talk some shit in Alliance chat, prepare yourself for TG Sid. Because you're going to have to eat the same shit we're eating, because if one of the parties die, you die. It ain't going to make it unless you send 2 or 3 people over from your party to go stand on those little things and take care of the other mechanics. So you need to quit talking shit and you need to help. Well, that didn't happen. So we got to TG Sid. Other alliances are talking, the other parties are talking shit. And I had enough. I think it was like on the 5th wipe. I couldn't. And then people just kept going in and out. And it was one of those, like, I kept seeing people like leave, and I was like, if I hang out, these healers are going to get the hint. They're going to leave. No. They stayed. So I was giving advice, and then I never, and I don't do this stuff. I don't go like a bunch of dumbasses and then leave. I'm just like, I tried to be helpful, and then like it was on the 3rd or 4th wipe. It must have been the 4th wipe. I said, the new tank was like, we were on the pads, and I was like, you were on the pad until you didn't get healed and died. Uh-huh. And it doesn't count your body when you're dead. And then I left. So I wasted that. I queued back up again because other people had left. I didn't get a penalty. But then it took like 20 minutes before another one popped. I feel like there's a hidden algorithm that was shitting on me that wouldn't allow me to get back in because I quit. So I got back in. And this group had similar issues, but the healers knew what they were doing. Well, one healer was new, but he was like, hey, I'm new. I'm willing to learn. If you give me some quick hints, I'll be happy to do this. And I was like, thank you. So here's some quick hints. Mustadio, no problem. In fact, the healer never died. Neither one of the healers died. Agrias, not much of a problem. The healer took some hits, but then like somebody was like, hey, you have to use the shield thing and stay still. So the healer was good. Got to TG Sid. Now, we only had 2 wipes on TG Sid. Now, I am coming out of, had 5 wipes. I'm going into having 2 more.
2 feels like a vast improvement at this point.
It is a vast improvement. However, the rest of the Alliance weren't with me through the last shitlord party. So they're, of course, talking shit again. This is a brand new instance. And we wipe to the, what was the mechanic? I think it was just before we got sprung up. And then somebody went, oh, fuck, we died before even getting to ads. Here we go. Now, here's the kicker. 2 people in my party started going, "You cunts, shut your mouth. How dare you talk about it, you bunch of shithead cunt motherfuckers." I was like, whoa, turn it down a notch. This guy, okay, obviously the other parties are not happy and they say they snarky in Alliance chat. I get it. I've been there. But like us dropping C-bombs and F-bombs and other bombs on top of people, it's not really cool.
No.
And then immediately I'm like, I see reported. It's like, well, shit, I'm about to lose 2 of my party members to reporting. And they start kind of backpedaling a little bit, but they're still talking shit. So I've got we're A, and C is talking shit, and we're talking shit back. Not we, the 2 people in my party are. So we wipe and we get back, and while they're talking shit, somebody in my group says, "Can we explain a little bit?" So I start explaining in party chat. Somebody shouts out, "Are you explaining or not?" And we're like, "Yeah, in party chat. The whole alliance doesn't need to hear it. It's fine." So then somebody pulls. And then my guy again goes, "You fucking ... And the dude's like, "I didn't even pull. It wasn't even our group that pulled it. It was group B that pulled it." So they pulled early, even though we were in the mid-explanation. We had just started explaining it. And then we get through the ads, but then... And this was a little unfair. You know, sometimes Sid will do the sword thing, but he'll do it on the same side like 3 in a row. Yeah. And if you're running around, you got to keep running to get back to your spot. And my group didn't. They were just like, "Hey, we just need to dodge over 1." And then like the sword was like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And they got clear, and I lost 6 people. 6 people, both healers, the tank, and 2 DPS died or something, and 3 DPS died. And it's like, well, shit. So me and the other DPS run back to our spot. We're like, "Reses, please," but it's too late. The pads are going out, and we're fucked. And then I don't know if there was shit talking, but then I typed in Alliance chat, "Looks like we have more time to explain." Mm-hmm. So then I was like, "Look, the sword thing, we got screwed on that. Not your fault. But here's what's going to happen after that. We got to get back on the pads. The ice thing's going to happen. We'll get to tackle that. And then it's rinse, wash, repeat." So we were almost done explaining it. And then we cleared it. It was fine right after that. Yep. No big deal. And then last dude, that was fine. There was no issues in that. And it was good. So I got my hands. I got my token. Felt good. 2 people got reported. Probably got a stern talking to by the GMs. Don't call people cunts. Don't call people fuck bags or whatever. I mean, the terms of service is still the terms of service. That part didn't change. You just can't do that.
But screaming at people's not going to fix their dodging ability anyway.
No. And yeah, I get that on the other side. Like, don't, if you're in an alliance and, and you see people leave, maybe just leave. I don't know. But it worked out. It was fine. I felt okay. And then, what else? Did Sarah, you talked about that briefly. We did some farming. I think we cleared it like 5 more times. Five or 6 more times. Yeah, 5. We had some people that joined us, and there were still some clears. So I think with that comes learning when you can DPS, because I think we pushed in Rage, Yelta. There was like 4 of those that we might have won it, but we got to like between 5 to 1%, and then enraged.
And I felt terrible because we had so many people sign up who wanted to go that I'm like, all right, well, we'll do a couple and then we'll switch people in and out. But it was like we were hitting in Rage every other pull, and it's like I don't want to try to teach someone else the fight now when we're barely scraping by now. So,
right.
It was kind of a little bit frustrating when you did, you got her clear. I'm like, all right, we're going to kick its ass, 10 more times or 9 more times. And then it was just like, and scraping up dead people. And, that fight's, just winning it once doesn't make you a master at it. So that's why I never joined farm parties until actually I've cleared it a few times in learning and clear parties, because you could have just gotten lucky. But
yeah, and even learning the steps, if you're not pushing buttons good, you're not going to do the DPS to take it down. In retrospect, I was like, I guess I could have used a potion at one point or something, to do that. But I don't think about that on the EXs as often. Like it's not like Savage, like I need to use a potion. But maybe after that first 1% in rage, I could have started popping that. But at the same time, we had this really terrible samurai that wasn't pulling his weight, and I kid, of course. Our samurai was kicking ass. What's up, Taja?
Oh my god! I was saying, you mean the samurai that was when I counted real fast?
Counting really fast over 7K. We were fine. He was fine, and with experience comes hitting buttons better. And so if we get some of the same people, and then I think we can continue to teach people. It's not one that I think the learning curve is terribly steep. It's just knowing when you can DPS, how to weave that stuff in as you get knocked around by the waves, and a lot of that too is you're standing on the wrong side. And you get hit by the, big chungas is what we call them. You get slapped around and you die. Well, you can't DPS when you're dead. So that's part of it too. You gotta know where to stand and all that good stuff. But we'll probably tackle that again before terribly long, because again, that goes back to I need weapons. I know you could use some weapons for other jobs.
Be a great weapon to have to go into Shadowbringers. Really. And
I would urge a listener, if you're on the fence about doing any of the EX, this one is really, I think this one's easier than Tsukiyomi. Personally, I think it's easier definitely than what, what's the big snake dude what's his name? What's his name? Yelta, help me out here.
I don't know who you mean.
Well, the big green one, the one that drops the green pony.
Shinryu.
Shinryu. There's too many S names. There's too many S fucking bosses.
Shinryu is pretty easy now, but yeah.
Now, yes, but at level, that had a lot of dancing.
I got my clear and then noped out for a long time. So
yeah. And Suzaku can be pretty. There's another S name one.
I'm not good at the Simon Says part of that. I'm too laggy.
So this is one that at level is a lot more forgiving than some of the other EX primals at level. What else did I do? I did so much. So Hildebrand, I finally got caught up on the Hildebrand storyline. We had the most recent patch, and of course we got two quests of Hildebrand and the Beast Tribe thing. I'm still working on my Beast Tribe. I think I'm 3 days from getting both my other Beast Tribes, Turtle Boys and Snake Ladies, where I can do this quest, so it won't be long. But did Hildy. I was actually where I could start the quest. I thought I was going to have to start way behind, and that was not necessarily the case. I was able to start right at the quest that came out recently. So did it. It's funny. It's good. Hildebrand to me is always funny. It's like you said. It has that explanation of how Hildebrand gets to the first shard. So there's some magic in there for that. And it threw me for a loop. The gym stuff threw me for a loop.
Yes. Yeah.
I won't spoil, but it kind of felt forced in a sense, and I've heard some comments to that degree where it's like, what? Okay, all right. Because I would have kind of liked it to be what I thought it was before, where you're just adding more casts of characters. But that's okay. Whatever works. And it was still funny. It was fine. The boss fight, I'm glad I had done it at FanFest. I came in and I said, I'm new. And somebody said, oh boy. And I put, except for the time I did it at FanFest. And I didn't die. So it's hard to die in that, I think. I think it was easier than the FanFest version, to be quite honest. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception. Maybe it's because I had hot bars
or something, and we had our own hot bars and controls.
I had my own hot bars and my own mouse configuration and all that good stuff. So maybe that was the case. But it was still fun. It was enjoyable. We cleared it pretty quickly. And I got the barding. I rolled a straight up 99 on that barding. Yeah. Oh, I failed to mention I also got the red mage sword when I was in Sarayu, and I rolled a straight up 99 on that guy too.
You lucky bastard.
I am lucky. My red mage is higher geared than my summoner, which is my main. Gods forfend. Mm-hmm. And then, God, Yelta, I hate to admit this. What? I got to the last boss in this game and I cheated and I don't feel bad about it. I know people will say I cheated myself and I cheated this game. But
there's the meme.
Exactly. I really don't care. I was walking through Kugane and there was a man on the pole and I quickly switched to blue and I died in front of him and the mofo raised me. So I got my lookout on top of the little pole in the center of Kugane.
I call that one working with the community.
Oh, that's correct. That's community involvement.
Yeah, community involvement, helping other people, allowing yourself to be helped by other people. We're calling it a win. I know. There's no way I would have ever gotten it either. I can't get the one in Ralgar's Reach where you were like actually like you're leaving town by the river. I can't jump over, and I may have to look up a guide. Maybe I can do it. I can get on top of the neighbor's house in our housing. I think it was Taja showed me how to get up there.
Yeah, I don't even do these. In fact, there's some that are from like Heaven's Word I still pass, and I wave at them when I pass by. I don't even give a shit.
I get them when I see them, but I actually saw two this probably in the last week or so because I was flying around doing quests and stuff on my lower level jobs now, and I'm like, oh, I'll go land there and get it.
Yeah, I should, but I'm just terrible at this game, so I have to cheat. And it was cool. In fact, I died. I saw the guy and I died, but I didn't like wave at him or whatever, and the guy never raised me. And I just sat there and my wife came in the room and I was like, Senna, I'm trying to get this thing. This guy's not raising me. She's like, well, then you're not getting it. Because she's mean about that. She's like, you shouldn't cheat. And some other white mage came along and raised me. So I stood there, and then the guy, I saw him switch to Black Mage. He was a thought material, 24. I don't know how he could have been 20. No, I think his gear score was 24. He was a thought material sitting on the pole. And then after I got raised, I saw him switch to Black Mage, and I was like, let me die again. So I died again. I didn't wave at him, and then he switched to White Mage, and I was like, yeah, here we go. Raised me, I hugged him, got my lookout. He waved at me. I stood up there for a minute to get a screenshot, and then he like poked me or something. I think he meant like, get the fuck off my pole. This is my pole. So no, I don't know. I jumped off, and then he went into queue or something. He was queued up for something. So
he disappeared.
And he disappeared, and the opportunity was gone. So I had been looking for that opportunity. I go by Kugane every once in a while and pass by there just to see if somebody's standing on that pole. Got lucky, baby. So it was a good week. I hate that I had to cheat in this game to be successful, but you know what? The community was helpful. It helped me be more involved in the community.
Well, it's not like you get anything from it, right?
No,
there's
nothing.
not.
Well, I got an ultimate weapon. I think.
Oh man,
I got a totem.
I didn't get one.
One of those Bahamut ultimate tokens, totems, whatever. Obviously not. I don't even know the fucking name of it. So life is good. The game has been good. It's been fun to play. It's been fun to play with you, Yelta. Tell me what you've been up to.
It's been a good time. On my quest to wrap up all level 70s, I got monk to 70, so that leaves me with ninja and dragoon, and they were both level 50, 51 at the beginning of the week. Or beginning of last week. Monk is 70 now, all done with that. Now I have Ninja. I've got Ninja up to 58. So that's been good. I've been running stuff. The Crossroad Link Shell does a lot of, we're going to go do Alliance Roulette. So I always try to get in on those, and I can at least go and get a queue that's not, a DPS queue all the time for different things. Of course, for Alliance Roulette, sometimes DPS queue is just fine, because that's sometimes what's needed. But I'm pushing Ninja on, and then when I'm done with that, I'll finish up Dragoon, and then I will be all 70s. It's kind of been my thing lately. Of course, I get distracted constantly, because people are like, come help me with this, or we need people for that, or I need a healer for this. So I still do that, because I still need tomes also, and I like helping people. Mm-hmm. So I didn't cap either, but I was, 500, 600, 700 tomes. I haven't capped in so long, it doesn't really matter. I don't even have all the tome gear even for my main, much less upgraded. So I've just I'm like 392 or 392 or something, and I kind of figured good enough. I'm not rating, so other than making other stuff easier, there's not really a ton of point to it. So
yeah,
but and went with you guys. We all did that Friday night, Sarah EX, and it was a clear, I think, for a couple. And then we did farm it 4 more times, and it was a long night. I do still feel really bad. A lot of people were kind of like, I heard there's a party. When are we going? And oh, they're already in there, and maybe we'll rotate you in. And then that wouldn't have worked, I don't think. So I do feel bad, but I think we'll go back. And I think the stronger people get at it, it'll be easier to rotate people in and get their weapons and their clears and stuff. So that's good. And then about the only other thing I did was PvP. We've been doing PvP on Monday nights. So yesterday I logged in and got, 7 out of 8 party. Queues were popping. And not only did we win once, we won 3 games, which got our weekly challenge log. I mean, the last game we were losing horribly. And then all of a sudden, through a combination of the other 2 teams deciding to fight each other and us having some really lucky pops of those Allegan node things, we took and held a couple of those right next to each other near the end and won. It was pretty fun. It's hard though when you get sometimes you get sandwiched in. The other 2 teams will come at you, and then you just really have to run away. We had a couple of times where people thought they were just chasing down some lone white mage and it was a trap, or they were running back to their teammates, and then you come into sight having almost murdered their white mage, and they're like, "Fuck no," and they kill you. But it was pretty fun. It was a good time. It's much more fun with enough people in voice chat, and no one in voice chat was taking it too seriously. So that helped a lot too. Of course, our friend Klaus was in the group when I joined the group, and got to play with him for a little bit. That's always fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I still don't know what to buy. I have 18,000 wolf marks, and I know there's there's minions and there's hairstyles and there's emotes and there's songs, but I'm not sure what to buy. I eventually want it all, but so. I don't know. I tried out a lot of glamour gear, but I'm actually pretty happy with the glamours I have right now. So
yeah, I've looked and I've gotten all the glamours I feel like I want, except for you've got new jobs that you're leveling, so maybe you'll discover some glamour for those. I've never played with the melee jobs glamour, or a little bit of the tank glamour, not so much. But as far as healer, ranged, and caster goes, I'm kind of burnt out with any of the glamours that come out of PvP at this stage. So it's need fresh stuff, need some Shadowbringer stuff.
Well, and a lot of the sets aren't particularly attractive to me.
Right.
They just don't, fit my style or what I'd like. So, I don't know. I tried on a lot of different ones, and I was trying them on last night on, Ninja and Dragoon and stuff, trying the different gear sets on, but it's I never play those roles, so why would I buy glamour for it? So, I don't know. But there's still... Well, and then the hairstyles, I don't think I'd wear either one, but I'd like to have them. I want to have all the music if I can, that kind of thing. If there's minions I don't have. But eventually I'll get it all, eventually, I guess. Oh, but that was, I don't remember. I did the same kind of things as you did. I ran Orborns. And my first one I almost left. We did so completely terribly on the first boss. I'm not sure I can handle this. Mm-hmm. But then for some reason after wiping, coming back, and then I don't know, people just woke up and realized there has to be at least enough people to push buttons good to get through it. So it was not that bad after that. I think I went a couple more times with other people who needed theirs, but I don't think I ever got a drop out of there. That's okay. I didn't have anyone calling me the C word, and I didn't have to report anyone, so that's
good. So
call it a win. A win. All right, you can shoot the shit with us. Come to the website, www.GTFFXIV.com. Let us know what you've been up to. We have some news. First round, letter from the producer live, part 50 digest has been released, and you can go find that on the Lodestone. We currently have a play free for up to 7 days in the latest free login campaign. So that's April 8th through June 17th, and you get a sum total of how many hours? I can't remember.
Scanning.
I found it earlier.
Is it in digits? I'm scanning for numbers.
I don't know.
There's a date. Yeah.
7 days. Approximately 7 days. But it counts the time when you're downloading the game. So I hope you have a good internet connection. However, if you have been away from the game, you want to come back, check it out. Right now we've got the Easter event. Shortly we're going to have the Final Fantasy 15 crossover event. I think if you timed it right, you could knock both those out. And depending on how long you've been unsubbed, you could maybe wrap up some storyline and stuff too. So, depending on where where you've been, how long you've been gone. So that's cool. Oh yeah, right at the top there, Ruby, it says play up to 168 hours.
Oh, in big numbers.
Big numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, that you wouldn't think I worked in finance. You'd see frickin' numbers. Okay.
The other news is, of course, the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration event. That starts Tuesday, April 16th. I don't remember if we've talked about this before, really.
Broom, broom, I'm in my car.
In my car. I seen the pictures of the Lalafell standing up driving it. That's not safe.
Oh.
This site, by the way, does not like my Chrome browser.
Interesting.
It's very angry with it. You can get to a screen that shows the rewards. There's music, there's gear, there's a triple triad card. The important thing to take away from this is we know because people looked, a lot of the rewards are granted by MGP. So you're going to want to save up your MGP. But this event runs for a while. It runs for like 6 weeks. This is not like a little 2-week event. So you should have time to farm up MGP if you need it. And who knows, it could be like the Garo event where they put the event in, but they really left the prizes in. You can buy them later. I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So, but I'd go farm up some MGP. It's pretty easy if you do your challenge log, and if you do, and don't spend money on the fashion report. Just get your 10K. Make sure you're doing the daily CACPOT. Enter any tournaments.
They've even eased the fashion report.
Oh yeah.
So it's it's a lot less expensive than it used to be in the past to get more. So you never know, Yelta, in the next 2 weeks they might softball it to us on those. So it's worth at least looking to see. There's always, I think Noriko Star's hubby does like some...
Yeah, there's always a Reddit thread, right?
There's a thread.
And
there's tweets about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can easily get that. It's worth trying, and at least do your, like you said, Yelta, do the daily stuff. Just join the triple triad thing and get your 1,000 from it. You can work up to it. It's not terribly far. So I'm sitting here watching the video, and I guess I didn't pay too much attention. You're fighting the Empire. There's some cool NPCs from that. I guess we're pushing the car, man. I see it. It's like the cutscene looks like the beginning of 15. Where how the fuck does the Regalia get into Eorzea? That's what I'd like to know. It breaks the lore, Yelta.
Everything breaks the lore, but
except for Male Vieira.
I don't know. I think if they. I don't know. I didn't like 15 to begin with, so I'm not super excited about this event. And then I don't really like cars and motorcycles in my fantasy games, but it's pretty Final Fantasy, so I don't know. No, 15 didn't feel very Final Fantasy to me, though, I guess. 15
has issues. I like Noctis. In fact, my thing with 15, I've probably said it 2 years ago when the game came out, but my problem with 15 is not Noctis. It's not the enemies. It's not, it's the poor storytelling and how it just felt like it was rushed, I guess.
I didn't like that you didn't feel like heroes of light, right? I didn't feel like, and then no one felt like a warrior, no one felt like a white mage, no one felt like that really was, because that's very Final Fantasy to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you don't like 8 then either, I bet.
I don't even remember 8.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them just have that like generic, like 2 is like, I can make a white mage out of this guy, but nobody's like, I am the white mage.
Oh,
so.
I don't mind that you can build a white mage. But just even, I couldn't figure out in 15 how to build a white mage. Yeah,
this one had fucked off spells. They weren't even like spells. It was like you were throwing potions on the ground or I don't know. It just didn't, you were mixing stuff to make things. It just, there were some elements like that. And then I guess for me it was, you had this whole Brotherhood arc thing that felt like it was 75% of the game. We're just riding the countryside. And then we have real shit for like 25% of the game. And I guess that 75% of the game was supposed to make you feel like, oh, we're brothers. And then it's tearing us apart for the last 25%. But I just don't think it told that part well. I got it. I got what they were trying to do. But I just don't feel like it was.
Male bonding isn't something I want to play through.
Yeah. And the whole docking scene with the guys.
Oh my God.
I didn't want to see a 4-way docking in my Final Fantasy.
Oh my God. All right, but I am looking forward to the collaboration event. I do like crossover events. And then you noticed the Lodestone got an update.
I didn't. My wife noticed.
Your wife noticed that Lodestone. Well, thank you, Cinna.
Thank you, Cinna. So she was looking something up. I don't remember what it was, and she went to the Lodestone. She's like, "Did you notice all these things change?" Well, it must have been that day. It had to have been that frickin' day. Let me go there and just see what it's like. The menus at the top, they're like white and highlighted. If you go and you spend any time on the Lodestone, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So all the menu items at the top, if you hover over them, they're big, nice bubbles now. It's not the text where you've just got a wall of text and you're trying to find it. I used to have so many issues trying to find, like, the blog post. There was official blog and blog. And some links took you to the same place, and some took you, like, wait, that's not what I want. So to me, it's simplified, but I haven't played with it enough to really, like, feel comfortable with it yet. I do like how some of the icons look. If you do over the getting started, they're very colorful visual icons. If you go to the other stuff,
obvious. You know where to download your benchmark, man.
Yeah. And then if you go to the other icons, they're more simplified, but at least they're graphical. So I guess, a couple of pass-throughs on this, you could probably find things a lot easier than you could the previous Lodestone menus. Those are the major changes. If there are other changes, I haven't discovered them yet, but I'm glad to see that they're refreshing this stuff. It's pretty cool. And then, the benchmark. Even though we don't quite know when the new benchmark's going to be, I think I read something that, like, if it goes along the same lines that we had for Stormblood, you're looking at late April for that. I think it was released the 20-something of April. That's not an exact date, the 20-something of April before Stormblood came out. And so people are speculating that it'll be the 20-something of April this month. So please look forward to it.
I hope so. That'll be fun to play with it. I'm also hoping it kind of calms. I know not everybody's getting what they want in this expansion. The loudest people are the ones who want the other sexes for the races. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping that getting to play with what they do have will maybe calm them. Or it might fire them up again. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's too bad, but they've heard us by now. I don't need a daily reminder to add the opposite sexes. But they are. It's every day still, and it's like they've heard us by now. You've done all the arguments. As far as I am concerned, all the arguments for adding them have been heard. They have to balance that versus their workload and versus either adding more resources to the team to make these, or cutting some content or delaying other content to add them. It's not just going to magically happen. It's like the bunny outfit and the gold saucer. It's not like someone just checked the box that said make this work on boys too. Human beings had to do the development and the testing, and that all takes time and resources. So we've let them know we'd like to see the other sexes. We've let them know we'd like to see a healer. And I don't know, screaming about it more isn't really going to make it happen any faster.
Where's my eggy glamour?
Oh.
I'm looking at the previous benchmark thing. It's still Stormblood if you click on it. And there is a little graphic at the bottom that says tested on 4/27/2017. In fact, I think it probably was released on the 28th, which was a Friday, but it could have been on the 27th. So if I'm looking at the dates here, the last Thursday, Friday of the month is 25th, 26th. So maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I can't wait to play with it. I will probably stay exactly the same as I am now, but it is fun to play with. It is going to be fun. This is when I will decide if I have to do anything with an upgrade or maybe building a new PC, that kind of thing. So,
you think they'll do a contest, like build a character and show us your best Hrothgar or show us your best Vieira? And they've done that in the past. Use the benchmark and build one, and then send a screenshot and.
So we have to do the opposite then. We have to do the build your most disturbing.
Oh, that would be cool.
We'll have to give away something for that, I think.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right. Let's see. Reminders, Hatching Tide is here now. Started today, and it ends on 4/22. So you have some time, but don't wait too long.
Work them eggs.
I haven't done it yet. I heard there's puzzles, but I've been trying to stay unspoiled.
The answer is no. I didn't have a good one for that. I was really going to try to say something funny, but I didn't have shit for it. The answer is whiskey. No,
whiskey.
I did the Hatching Tide just before we did this because I assumed Yelta Sumasu had already knocked it out. She took the day off of work.
I was watching Lost in Space with my husband. No,
the movie or the show?
Then there's a newer series. We just finished the Santa Clarita Diet. We just finished watching all of those. So now we had to find something new, and my husband put on Lost in Space and then promptly fell asleep.
Is there still Dr. Smith and the robot?
I just met Dr. Smith at the beginning of the second episode, and it's a girl. So,
that ruins it for me.
No, it might be good.
Really? Is she a bitch?
She's
scaredy cat?
No, she looks like a bitch, but she's pulled some. She's already imprinted herself as an asshole.
Okay.
Will use others.
But hadn't reprogrammed the robot yet.
No, has not met the robot. I did hear the words "Danger, Will Robinson." So I grew up with that shit, though, right? Yeah. So I watched reruns of that as a little girl.
Yeah. So did I.
Some space
thank God for Nick at Night and all that other good stuff. I played a lot of that, and my mom was into it. I guess my mom watched it back when it was, on for real, and we always talked about Lost in Space. So I was a fan. I was a fan of the movie, the first one. I don't know if there may be a multitude of movies now, but the one that came out in like the 90s or whatever, I liked that one. Decent. So. Yeah, and I want to say, what's his name? Billy whatever. The kid was actually Billy Mummy, I think is his name. I think he was actually in that.
In it. I thought so.
Yeah, like at the end or something. He was the grown-up Will or something. Anyway, this is not Lost in Space.
This is not Lost in Space podcast, but we do like us some sci-fi.
But I did do Hatching Tide. It is challenging. But if you keep talking to one of the NPCs, they basically spell it out for you. So the first one, I'm driven to check the dialogue in this game because it's like, well, I don't want to miss something. And it's like, do you want to hear more? Do you want to hear more? Well, if you keep clicking, do you want to hear more?
It'll just spoil it for you, kind of?
Jilly basically kind of spells it out for you. And I did that on the first. What's that?
Was it Asians?
Yes, it was Asians. Sorry to spoil it for you. You have to say egg hunt to an Asian. and then he eats your face. He possesses your body. So they tell you to go say egg hunt in a certain place, and then she basically spells it out for you. And then the second time, the puzzle's a little more challenging, but I didn't ask her repeated times. But when I got to the end of it, I was still kind of clueless. I figured out the puzzle, and I got the clue, but I'm like, where/what the fuck? And I had to cheat again. I died as a blue mage. Somebody rezzed me at the right spot. No, my wife was like, go somewhere. And then I saw what I was looking for. Okay. So I got it knocked out. So it's cool. The gear is great. It looks good. I haven't dyed it yet, but I've got my midnight egg cap, my midnight egg rings, and my midnight earrings. And the body is the same color blue as the midnight stuff. You can dye anything, whatever. But it looks really sharp. I've actually seen some people dye it and wear it as regular gear for their mains and stuff because it looks that good. I hate when we get shitty looking gear, but this one is not shitty looking.
And you don't even mind the little egg satchel on it or whatever. That's what people were complaining about.
What's cuter is if you turn around on the back, it's got two spriggin' ponytail things.
Yes.
Yeah. It's cute. I like it.
I want it.
You'll get it.
All right. What's on tap? We do have 2 developers blog. We have Spriggin' into Spring. This is, of course, about Hatching Tide event. And they look at this year's art and how cute it is. I heard lots of discussion on the art and sexy Mikotes, and then it just kind of got disturbing. So
we're thinking about balls, or what?
I don't know.
Because it kind of looks like she's thinking about balls.
She's definitely thinking about balls. And that Lalafel's a feared.
Yeah.
A feared. So they've shown us, what we get, and then they have some screenshots of them being worn. Oh, and here's the screenshot from the back of the adorable hoodie bits with the Spriggan head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. So Lalafell in long knee socks, I almost wish they'd come up a little higher because it looks weird. So the knee socks are actually part of the leggings on this one, not the boots, though. Which is different. Usually, a lot of times the knee socks are part of the boots, I think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Because I'm not sure I want to see what it looks like on a Lalafell. But those boots aren't my favorite thing ever. But I would like to try them. So, yeah. They thought that the bottoms and the boots are sure to go well with other outfits. So that's cool. I like that they think of how the gear would look mixed and matched with other gear. I wish and I know this is, again, they can't just do a switch, but I sometimes wish that I could choose to wear the men's pants, because those are cute little capris. But no. All right, Mapping the Realm Fan Festival Tokyo. This was Zexos, finally back from Fan Festival in Tokyo, and PAX East 2019 in Boston. I bet they're exhausted.
I bet.
So he's sharing with us some photos that their counterparts in Japan took during the fan festival. It's a lot of scrolling, so we're not going to read you all of these. But, oh my God, this board is adorable. They have the Minion placard like in the Minion guide, and then you could stand in front of it and have a picture taken.
That's cool. I wish we had that.
That's cute. That's cute. And then they had... goodie bags and signing the wall. They opened the doors. Just some real cute pictures of everybody. A lot of pictures of people in outfits. They had an air hockey game they named Allegan Rot. Because you have to constantly pass it around. And this might be the cutest white mage I've ever seen.
Oh, adorable.
Oh, little girl. On the humongous Moogle cushion. This is a photo of a classic Japanese festival game where you scoop up balls from the water using a paper scoop. Oh, yeah, because it's really thin. Uh-huh. You have to scoop up... There was a game like this in Final Fantasy XI. Do you remember?
11 had it during Summerfest. You can do goldfish scooping. Yep.
The balls had job icons and meteor logos on them. That's cute. Oh, boy. Some others. Oh, drawing your own alpha. Oh, the board. They're colorful in Japan.
Yeah.
Our board was all black. I'm going to bring me a big-ass purple marker next time.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. There were masks, and that's terrifying. It's Asahi. Asahi.
That bastard brother.
Mm-hmm. I want this Babam lantern, by the way. Or not Babam, but, our bombs. The lantern. I want one of those. There's a lot of pictures here. A lot of guests. A lot of cosplay. Oh, my goodness. There's some good pictures here. Everybody should go check this out.
Yeah, this is really nice.
I'm not even reading the text. I'm just looking at the pictures. Oh, they have gotcha machines down there, it looks like.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's big. Oh, and there's them doing the battle. Nice. Look at all the chocobos and alphas and... Oh, and then they had a section where players could try out Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. I have that. I'm terrible at it. I just go in the dungeon and die.
They carted Yoshida in? Holy shit.
Oh, they did. Yep. Oh, the Primals concert, looks like. Looks like an amazing time.
There's Yoshida wearing that kimono again. He's just asking for it, right? Paper,
he looks
rock
good.
Shotgun.
He knows. Oh, those guys can fuck off. Stop liking what I don't like. Stop being excited about something I don't like. Those people can fuck right off.
It's cool in 2019 to be contrary, though.
This is true. But it's kind of cool to be living in 2019, and the shit that used to get you beat up as a kid is now, like, making you a fucking rock star.
That is also true.
I'm just saying. So. All right. We have some happy hour. Whew, we have quite a bit, guys. Thank you so much. Apparently whining worked. Joshua Sullivan sent us, was this an email?
This was actually a comment on the website.
Oh my god, I forgot to check the website.
Yeah, well, because we get so few comments on the website.
Well, and when we do, it's not in English and is trying to sell us male enhancement drugs or something.
And I use those, and thank you, Russian bots, for sending me that.
I just spilled booze all over my body.
Well, I have a boner that won't go down, so I need to call my doctor after the podcast.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so Joshua left us a message. The MQS was super short, but I like the fact that they didn't just simply end the war abruptly, and if they plan on poisoning everyone, it makes sense that they would withdraw to give a false sense of victory before crushing defeat and completely break the morale of the Alliance. And with no morale, you can't PvP as well. Well, that's my theory.
Morale's been gone, buddy.
Well, I am glad, too, that they didn't just, end resolved. Because I expected us to fight this war more. You know what I mean? We kind of, liberated a couple of towns, but it didn't feel like we fought the war. Yeah. So, I feel like we're going into Shadowbringers with this, we've got a force field, we've got, some troops, and I'm kind of glad they didn't just resolve it and suddenly the Garleans are your friends now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted that at all. I am sad there wasn't just one extra step that was like they retreated and then suddenly maybe their own force field went up or something happens or a bright light happens in the distance and we don't know what's gone on and we don't know, just leaves us at a cliffhanger and then we get called to another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know. So that's why I like the poison theory, because it's let them kill themselves or something. I'm not advocating for that, okay? I'm just saying that it would be a plot point. I don't know what'll happen. They may make it completely lame. It might be just like Garlemald's cool now, and they're just chilling, and we don't know.
I really expected to hear of infighting and unrest that would make them actually retreat, which would make them, be like, fuck it, we're using the poison on our own guys, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, no, good theory. Thanks, Joshua. Nick Romancer tweets us, thanks for the reinforcement that Yoshida's reasons for not including a new healer are incredibly weak. Now, are they weak enough to hint they might still announce another healer? Question mark? Yes, I'm still in the denial stage. Me too, Nick. Me too.
5.5. Wait for it.
We got an email from our own Belle Dandy. Hello, Rubicon and Yelta. I wanted to sit on and digest the information that came out of Japan Fan Fest before saying anything. First, I'm saddened there will be no new healer for the expansion, but after reading some interviews, I'm hopeful because Yoshida voiced the flawed design of the healer role. While the 3 healers are in a good spot, the healer role is in a bad spot, with SE designing them into pure healer and barrier healer role. Any new healer will have to fill either role or both. I could wait for another expansion for SE to fix the healing role so we can have more unique healing jobs. As for the gender-locked races, I still think it's a bad idea, even with their explanation as to why they're releasing 2 races with only 1 gender. Having 2 races for the expansion sounds cool, but with only 1 gender each and SE's explanation about how much resources it would take to add a new race, I think it's going to feel half-finish in the game. Well, and it's going to, honestly, because what we're getting isn't even going to get to wear helmets and glasses and stuff. I mean, it's what we're already getting is half finished. So I agree. Continuing on. For the story and theme of Shadowbringers, I don't understand why everyone thinks it's going to be a dark story. I think everyone has forgotten that we are there to protect Minfilia. I am making the assumption that she is the child of light, but this type of story of an unstoppable force protecting someone important until they are ready to fulfill their duty is a very classic high fantasy story plot. I'm looking forward to the expansion because I believe SE is going back to the roots of high fantasy, and in my opinion, that's where their strengths lie. Belle Dandy Kodak Excalibur. Yeah, I don't know. I think some of us want there to be something emotional, feel darker or lighter or whatever, but to feel more something, because a lot of us didn't feel anything in Stormblood, or felt very little, or when we did feel it, it was very small sections of the story we actually had a good emotional reaction, and that's why I think people are thinking that this is going to be a dark story. Yeah. We're being sent to a dying world, a dying shard, right? So I think some of us are expecting that to be dark, but then, you're right with the revelation of Minfilia, and, that maybe she is, the chosen child of light or something. I don't know.
It's a nice backdrop that we're going into because it's a dark world, so we are fighting against a greater evil. It's just that the dark and light are flipped. So we are fighting an evil, it's just that the evil is light. And we're bringing the good, but the good is darkness. So you can look at it, it's like a dark story, but the darkness is the light, and the light is the darkness. So we're still the good guy, but we're the dark knight. So it's, I can see where people could get confused with the wording of it and say dark story because we're a dark knight bringing darkness. But really, we're fighting against the darkness, but the darkness is really the light. So we're fighting against the light. So it's still like a fight. We're fighting against greater odds, which is completely different than what we experienced in Stormblood. We came out of Heaven's Word feeling heroic, and we were just marching to victory and continuing that in Stormblood. And I'll go back to the trailer. I was listening to the Stormblood soundtrack in the car. And that Stormblood trailer is us fighting in Ralgar's Reach on that palm with Lys. And then we go to standing in an alley in Kugane and just killing a random Garlean soldier. Not really like a boss, not really anything going on there. And then you've got I don't even remember if it shows Hien in it. It may briefly. And then it shows the 2 on the flagpole or whatever, and it's kind of like, the hawk soars by, and then it's like Stormblood, and this one, I have watched the Shadowbringers trailer umpteenth times because it feels so gritty. I blow past the dancer part, although I like where the music turns into the Final Fantasy III music for that part. I like the beginning parts well enough, but I really like those last, 10, 15, 20 seconds when you can really hear the vocalist come out, and we might have already mentioned it, but they tweeted out that the vocalist for it is from a metal band, Godhead, I believe, and he was the voice of Raban in 2.0.
I didn't know that.
He's been a voice actor for Final Fantasy, but we're getting some metal. We're getting a metal singer for the Shadowbringers expansion. So when his voice really kicks in, it sounds like he's going, "We fall," and then you see him, the Warrior of Darkness, slash towards the Kiribou, Innocence, we're not quite sure what that creature is, slashes through, destroys them, and it puts that rift that goes all the way up to the Crystal Tower, and that purple is shining up and all that. That's fucking sweet. That is cool. And the vocals are just like powerful at that part. Hey, I love Susan Calloway, but these male vocals and stuff feel strong, and it feels like I'm a fucking beast and I'm about to tear some shit up. And maybe people relate that to dark. Maybe they're like, ugh, that's darkness. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. It just feels stronger. It feels more powerful. It feels a lot like Heavensward did, because Heavensward was going against that darkness. And that darkness in Heavensward was like the ice and the cold and the snow. So it was the elements versus the dragons and all that. Everything was coming against the Warrior of Light. And we're going up against odds again. So I agree in that sense. And I also agree that high fantasy is really where Square Enix roots itself and has a better showing. I'm tired of regalias, to be honest. I'm tired of like laser swords, and 13 is the worst to me. I liked 15, but I don't necessarily like the backdrop for it. It was less zappy electrical stuff than even 13 was. 13 was way over the top. Too many laser beams. It was like if Azazla was the entire fucking game.
The Azazla patch. No.
I like little touches of that. Even Final Fantasy 1, you're going into when you're fighting the element of wind. You got the tower that was built by the ancients. See, that's okay with me. When the ancients built really powerful machinery things, but now it's ancient because somehow they fucked around and lost their technology, and we've gone back to the old ways because the old ways are better. I like that. That's fine for me. But when the whole game is all laser swords and bullshit, I'm not super into that so much. And I just feel like 15 to 13 more was that way, and I would like to see 16 go back to high fantasy, and I'm really glad that it seems like Shadowbringers is going to be a lot of high fantasy. I mean, you got to do high fantasy if you're going to do Final Fantasy 3 stuff anyway. That's just,
Well, and our Garleans, for me, I kind of accept their level of technology. It's not like Star Trek levels of technology.
Right.
It's still, they're compensating because none of them can use magic, right? So they poured
all
of their energy into tech, but it's still, it's not like the entire world is, using that technology, and we have all of our tomestones and stuff, and we trade them in for goods, and there is that kind of tech too, but it's old and lost, and we do have to destroy some of their some of the mobs and dungeons are robots and shit. But I don't know, I like more of a high fantasy kind of world too. And I think it'll be interesting what the first is going to be like, because it's evolved separately for thousands of years.
Right.
So, all right, we do have a last call with some last calls, actually. Mm-hmm. Ruby found this one. I love this one.
Oh,
I love Cyanide and Happiness.
We are not the most kid-friendly. I said the C word like 3 times at the beginning of this podcast. So we're not the most kid-friendly podcast, and we sometimes have views that, they're not so 2019. Well, there's a comic, Cyanide and Happiness, and they're pretty rude. And I follow them.
Dark. Well, did you go to the website? Because this whole section of ones are like these really dark.
Well, they do have an uplifting comic week if you want to see something happy. But most of the time they have like depressing comic week and things that are really terrible. And they're dark, but they're dark funny. If you're into that kind of humor, I follow them on Facebook, and they refresh their stuff. And I went to Facebook, and it popped up. Cyanide and Happiness had a comic. The comic is, why don't you go out and play outside? And there's reasons why this young man can't play outside. I won't spoil their joke, but it's people won't like it. Anyway, the chat at the top says, hell to the no, bitch. I still have to grind Eureka Hydatos so I can get that sweet Ozma mount. So even the creators of Cyanide and Happiness, they must play to even know that you can get the Ozma mount out of Eureka.
They know the grind is real. Yeah.
The grind is real. It's worth gouging your eyes out. And it's cool. You can find Final Fantasy 14, hopefully not 15. You can find Final Fantasy 14 in a lot of different media, and it's out there. It's pretty prolific. A lot of people play 14. A lot of these streamers that my wife and I watch on Twitch, I'm not talking about Tate and Frosty or any of the ones that I saw this week were getting salty over clipped Twitch streams. I won't go there.
I didn't understand that. Explain it to me later.
I'll explain it to you later. It's like it's like a Fourth Doctor episode. Like, I'll explain it to you later. So yeah, it's prolific. There's a lot of Twitch streamers that don't regularly stream Final Fantasy 14. And I'll catch them every once in a while talking about it on their Twitter accounts, or they'll be streaming it or something, and I'm just like, wow, they're catching up. They play it on the backside. They don't play it on stream, but they know the game. A lot of people know it, and I'm finding that just a lot of people in the public eye know it. Well, so
I think people forget what an amazing story Final Fantasy 14 is. It came out as this just fucking disaster. And usually game developers are like, oh, I guess we'll catch them with the next title. But they just people were even saying, no one will ever trust this game again. I don't care how much you rebuild it. And then they're like, well, it will always have a niche kind of, popularity. And then it just kind of exploded. And it's kind of hard for some of us to deal with the explosion too. It's weird that everybody's talking about it, and,
it is.
My cat's talking about it too.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. Your little Hrothgar is talking about it. If you're like me, I was ridiculed for playing 1.0. I had a friend that said, that this game is terrible. Why do you even continue to play? I kind of blew up at her because I was like, how dare you? It's Final Fantasy. But this was when I was still enamored, thinking that this would be fixed. 1.0 was going to be fixed by Tanaka, and then it took a couple more months for me to go, oh my God, people are right. This is terrible. And then Yoshida took over. But then we've been in it for so long that sometimes we forget the success story that it is, and we get into the modes like, fucking Eureka, da, 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 da. But it has come a long way. This game has really come a long way. And this game's not so bad. Things like the diadem make me want to Roblox commit no life. But this game is amazing. It really is. Again, we say it a lot. We wouldn't talk about it if we didn't love it. So we continue to love the game. So anyway, check out Cyanide and Happiness if you like dark humor. That's a thing. The other thing that I got that was a shout out for me was I was just chilling at the house. I think I had just come out of something. And Boss Hog contacted me. He said, hey, brother, sorry to bother you, but I really dig your show. Pass on to Yelta if you remember. Have a good play session. We talked briefly about free companies. We talked about a few things about the game. I said, hey, if you got any questions, just holler at me. I'm always around. And he put, cool. If you remember, please use the name Boss Hog. Nobody knows this guy. I think people probably do know you, Boss Hog. So thanks for listening. Appreciate you. To any listener, if you see Yelta and I out, say what's up. It's cool to talk to us. We don't bite. Yelta might a little bit, but
just a little, just nibble.
Just a nibble. But you'll like it. And We just really we appreciate hearing from the fans. We appreciate people going to the website. I know we say this week after week. Go to our website, GTFFXIV.com. You got to put the www in front of it. And we say this stuff week after week, but, there are times as a creator of anything, if you're an artist, if you're a musician or anything, you do stuff and you're like, well, nobody's listening, nobody's talking about it, nobody's doing anything. Are we even doing this for any reason? Why nobody cares? It really means a lot when you guys message us, and we appreciate like the 2 or 3 people that always message us. But we would love to hear from the vast community out there. I know there's people listening. We see the numbers. There's people listening. So shout at us. We love to hear from you.
Yeah, I actually look forward to my, every other week, someone like Mithrin Scarlet, was telling me how the Scholastica quests weren't, really just, a Japanese schoolboy or school kids anime trope. And I know I did it. I was probably exaggerating slightly in the last episode about how much I skipped or whatever. And it does talk about, Ishgard and the history of it and how they, kind of lied through the years about Ishgard's history and whatnot. And I still didn't really enjoy it. I didn't think I needed to hear the story, but I don't mind that it was in the game. I was kind of maybe being a bit dismissive of the storyline. I mostly just wanted that emote, honestly. All right, I had one too. I have a shout out. This one's a little different than my normal shout outs. Usually it's hi Yelta, like the podcast or whatever. This was Aiden Bernhardt I was in a dungeon, and I was in a leveling dungeon, and just somewhere it's like, how long have you guys been doing that podcast? And I'm like, huh? And they're like, he's like, you got a search message thingy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing it for, a few years now or whatever. And he's like, that's awesome. I'll have to check it out. And he's like, almost 160 episodes. Holy shit. So I just said, cool. If you do listen, send a message and on Twitter or email or something and let me know what you like. And he said, for sure. So I didn't think anybody reads search messages, but I'm glad I left the podcast info in there. So yeah, it's nice. If someone's interested in listening to a podcast, I really appreciate, we really appreciate checking ours out. And if we're not your cup of tea, there's lots of other ones out there. So
I'm going to have to take that ASCII image of a penis out of mine if people are actually reading these.
See, that's your problem.
That's why I'm not getting any good messages. I keep getting hit up for ERP, and I don't understand why.
Please send tell for ERP. Oh, my God.
Yep, I have issues. Clearly.
Oh man, we all do. All right, then I guess we're at closing time. Do you have anything else?
I have nothing else.
I have nothing else either. Not much in the news today, but that's okay. I'm gonna go log in and do the excellent event. Oh, by the way, Eva was tickled that I mentioned her puns, and that caused a lot of giggling in chat the other night.
A lot of girls giggling, huh, about eggs.
A lot of girls giggling about eggs.
I heard Shannon had some good ones. Our previous
my God,
rep
yes.
was yoking it up on Twitter.
Oh my God. See, and I can appreciate a pun, but my husband loves puns, and my sister Kariri loves puns. And so, like, I generally groan or roll my eyes when my dear husband makes a pun, but sometimes when we're playing a game, we'll play, like, Minecraft or something together. We'll all be in voice chat together, and my husband will make some sort of terrible pun, and my sister will just, like, snort and laugh so hard just because they just really tickle her. That was kind of been a bonding moment for my sister and my husband, because, the puns really kind of brought them together. She's like, I didn't realize your husband was funny. And I'm like, he is? All right. Someone's sending me pictures of my sister, by the way. Nice ones, clothed. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. No unsolicited nudes. All right, then. I guess it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.GTFFXIV.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. Email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at Yelta Sumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.